Stanislav Naboyan.
So Stanislav Naboyan will take on his teammate Abdulayev, and as I was saying, Brian, it has been that sort of rise for Russia to probably, it's confident to say that they're the number one here. It's the team to beat.
I think so. I think Bahrain are ranked number one, but one thing that's happened over the 2 years that Russia have sent teams over, first year was last year, then they did the Euros, then they entered this year. As you can see, this means something to Russia. They want that flag to fly above all others. You see it in all other tournaments, World Cups, Olympics. You see that happening, and Russia have recognized this is the spot where they can put a spotlight on their young athletes and prove, once again, like they always like to prove, that they are the top in this sport.
Now, you, myself, and Dean have been privileged to cover the most recent IMAF events, and we can't speak highly of them enough, but what we've seen is also the evolution of the Russian fighter. We know their ground game, we know their wrestling, we know the way they can stifle you, but it's the beautiful way they use the upright game, either to win it outright or as an incredible setup. People forget that they are so good on their feet as well, and we've seen that at this tournament more than any.
Without a doubt.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and here we go. This is the junior featherweight final. Let me introduce your fighters again. Firstly, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Russia, it is Sirajudin Abdulayev. And to face him over in the red corner, also representing Russia, it is Stanislav Naboyan. With your referee, Mr. Sharif Bapu from India.
So an all-Russian final. Abdulayev in the blue corner, Naboyan in the red. Mutual respect now, but at the end of the day, only one man can take gold. And it'll be interesting to see how they start this. As I said, I've watched them, as we all have throughout the rounds, and they're very comfortable and confident in the pocket, standing up. I'm not just talking about doing an upright game, I'm talking about staying in the pocket with you and forcing a mistake before they decide to go downstairs.
Absolutely. We've got Stanislav in the red corner taking on Sirajudin in the blue. And Sirajudin mixed it up so nicely, and you can see he is the longer, the taller, the rangier fighter. And sometimes it's learning how to use your weapons. This is about your evolution as an individual, as a martial artist within the cage. And for me, Sirajudin really looked very complete yesterday, and it's going to be a tough ask for Stanislav to get through those long limbs and see what he can do against his compadre.
As you said, I like the lateral movement of Sirajudin. I like the way he moves. As I said, and again, we talk about the wrestling pedigree, effortless head kicks, great straight boxing, but also when they see a slip, they can switch that level immediately. They're not caught in that game of it's upright, it's not boxing. Immediately when they see the opportunity, that immediately sees the level change. That's what I love about them most. And what they do, the Russians so well, is lure an opponent from another country into thinking it's going to be a nice stand-up game, especially some of the European teams, and then suddenly you're on your back. And this is the thing here. But as you rightly said, Sirajudin, his movement is superb at the moment in this opening round.
Very long, very rangy, but they're both throwing big shots already. This is the other thing. You always wonder about the feeling out process between teammates, and they are going absolutely for it in this final.
And Sirajudin we talked about that level change, immediately went for the single leg, just when you thought they were both happily in that routine.
Well, that's the thing. The adjective I keep using is instinctive, that it's just innate in them. It really is just part of their upbringing, part of their DNA, this wrestling. When that gap opens, they have no stifling between it. They drop, they change levels, they look for a takedown.
And as I said, despite the fact that I felt this has been the most flamboyant Russian team in stylistically, they also know when to shut out don't they?
They are clever fighters. This is a tournament, and they have an excellent tournament style, and sometimes you'll see this. This was a big position yesterday for Abdulayev, Sirajudin Abdulayev. He takes that back, he stays out of trouble, he avoids damage, but what he's doing, he's eating up that clock, he's earning the points in the eyes of the judges, and also he's making his opponent take all of his weight and work hard.
Yes, Stanislav is doing exactly that, having to work just to stay in this first round. That's the problem.
Looking to turn inside now. That's exactly what he needs to do. That posting arm, though. Abdulayev stepping over. See if he pulls him away. What he'll try and do is turn his back off the cage and onto the mat. But look how he grabs the ankle. Now switches into side control. Now steps over. Look at this. It's just move after move, constantly progressing.
And again, he postures up. He drives the knee into the thigh, forcing Naboyan to move again, and even when you look, there's no respite.
But what he has now is the position where he can be efficient. So rather than go for the high energy move of trying to drag his opponent down, what he does is he switched to the safer position, a position where Naboyan is still working, he's still using that posting arm, he's still trying to get back to his feet.
But Naboyan, for me, was negated in that opening round. If you're looking from a judge's perspective, for me, that would be the blue corner. Just for that, as you said, that level of control. Your opponent's still working, but it's you controlling where he's working and how he's working.
And also positioning yourself in a point where you are on the attack, whereas pure defense there you saw from Naboyan. He had to stop the takedown or try and get back to his feet, and here we see some of the exchanges.
I mean, that's just good upright boxing and kickboxing, any way you want to look at it. But what they add to the game, as we said, is the instinctive, the term you used, which I think is dead right, Brian, the instinctive level changes when it's needed. It is the fully rounded package. Naboyan, you wonder what he's got to do in this second round, because upright Abdulayev looks so comfortable. And then it was him initiating the takedown. Without
a doubt, and I think it is a case of you've got to engage, you've got to go first, you've got to try and get on that top position, because what we've seen from Abdulayev is he will work to the back so well. He will push you up against the cage, chain those wrestling takedowns together, and then put himself in that back position.
So for you, if you're in the Naboyan's corner, you say, yeah, let's engage in a little stand-up, but let's not get in the pattern. Look for that opportunity earlier. Oh, look at that, though. Brian, that's the problem you're up against, is that effortless roundhouse to the face as well.
And look at the way he puts those combinations together. Oh, that's lovely, though. That is what you were looking for. If you're in the corner of Naboyan, that sort of reaction is exactly right. But look at that, equally the defense and turning it around. Now it's back to Naboyan on the defensive.
Yeah, look for that little reap, Abdulayev. But that was the right tactic from Naboyan. That's what we were asking for. That's what we were saying. But it's so difficult when you're against a man that can read that, like Abdulayev.
And look at Abdulayev, he just seems so big and so strong for this weight class in particular. Yesterday he really did bully his opponent, and today his teammate is feeling the weight of that huge upper torso. For this weight division, he is massive.
And I like what you said as well, though, is the fact that he does the technique but still plays safe. He's not in danger, he keeps himself. Yes.
Exactly that, he gets that body lock clinch. The legs are open if you want to drop down, he can work on this, but he stays efficient. He makes Naboyan carry his weight. Even that little transition over, just jumping, that is really good riding of the opponent.
And as you said, makes him carry his weight, makes him work consistently, and all the time you're in no trouble whatsoever, but you're controlling the round, you're telling the judges which way to go. And even now in the final, when you feel that maybe you can not have to be worried about being risk averse because there's no more bouts, it's that efficiency that is so clinical with this man.
And that's a key to mixed martial arts in itself, finding a place where you can rest and make your opponent work. You can see a little grimace there. He's actually underneath there. Naboyan's locked up that Kimura grip. More looking to turn. You can see there he's trying to force that out. Can't quite see from that angle. Now he's let it go now, but once again, just resets, stays heavy on the back. Now he'll switch his weight. He'll move his weight up the upper onto right under his shoulders, make him carry him.
And even those knees to the back of the thigh, right
just
at the
work.
top.
It's work, and there's no gap, there's no space where you're not feeling either his pressure or a shot coming in. Very, very intelligent fighting.
And that's what's impressed me about the Russian team overall. They can look so stylish, but the substance is there as well. They don't sacrifice that efficiency, that pragmatic nature, and yet at the same time they show, yeah, we can do this. And I really enjoy watching this modern Russian team.
Now, I'm lucky enough to be able to travel and see a lot of the Russian talent coming through from grassroots all the way up to the very top level in that country. And I've got to say, as soon as I heard that the Russians were really putting together not just a federation, but a process, a program to try and identify their best athletes to put on a platform like this in the IMAF tournament, I knew that it would be very, very quick that they would start locking up those gold medals and being the force of nature in this tournament.
Well, you talk about locking up a gold medal. So far, Abdulayev is locking up this gold medal, Brian, with maximum efficiency and minimum effort, and that's no disrespect to his opponent. It's his game plan is working virtually to perfection.
Without to perfection, and without a doubt to perfection, but also this has been his style throughout the tournament. Every single opponent has faced exactly the same game plan, the same man, the same model, but no one has been able to do anything about it. That is the beauty of his style.
And just misses with that back fist. And we saw here that his timing, his movement, his level change, and then his total dominance when he gets the back. It's scary, really, to make it look so effortless.
Unless Naboin he's world class. He's here for a reason. He's in the final for a reason. And for Abdulayev so far to have made it look like this, to be able to dominate like this.
And do you know what I also love is such a contrast to our other totally dominant champion, Mohamed Mokaev, in the way that his character reacted, his dominance in a way was so flamboyant. This man is all business. He's bought his briefcase, he's opened it, he's taken out his sandwiches.
He's going to work, exactly that. But he's also doing it under this bright spotlight. So in the way that Mohamed Mokaev uses that energy and works off the crowd and almost baits the crowd and the opponent, this guy really uses that spotlight to focus and really get the job done, and equally as impressive.
And as Brian said, Naboin is a top-level competitor, and he's doing very little wrong. He's just against a man that's reading everything so well.
And this wrestling, it's the way you change it together. If he makes contact with you, it's more than likely you're going to end up in this position in round 1, 2, and 3. If you were to add up the minutes he's been on the back, dropping these knees, that's the majority of the fight so far.
And you can't explain, Brian, can you, just how tiring it is for you to try and prevent that, then get away from that and move from that. And Naboin has found that, like everyone else, that touchy-feely aspect where he moves with you. Every single movement you make, he's there with you.
Oh, he reacts totally. He's almost like sand on your body or water running over it. As soon as he feels there's a gap or you're trying to make a gap, he'll fill it. And we've seen it so often. It's one of the conversations we have many times when you see other nations come and face the Russian team, the Bahraini team, the Kazakhstan team, which are very strong wrestling. There's a moment in the fight where you see a difference in their eyes, where they've never felt wrestling like this. And for this young man to be doing it, not just on the world stage, not just in the final, but against another Russian who is also an elite grappler, that really does show the level Abdulayev is at.
Yes, it's been a controlling performance, as I said, in contrast to Mokaev's, but no less impressive from this young man. And he's actually upped the pace in this third round as well, Brian. I had the feeling that 2 rounds to the good, he might stay where he was, but no, the transitions, the movement, he's actually taken it to another level again in this third round.
He's done that exactly, and again, Naboin looking for this Kimura grip. You can see there, Abdulayev gripping his own thigh, trying to stop that, but again he just pops it out, and once again there he is, bearing his chest on the back of Naboin, and happily watching the clock tick down. It's a phenomenal start. It's a crazy, it might not be everyone's favourite to watch, but it really is a thing of beauty to be able to grapple at this level against another grappler, out-grapple another grappler.
It's for
like
the purists sat at home going, wow, isn't it? They're going, oh, look at that, look at this, and again he's doing it again. Look, Brian.
Naboin there trying to roll out, but as soon as he does, now he's in on a single. Such pressure, and he's also, Abdulayev has fought at his pace. This entire fight has been fought on his terms, so he's not tired. When that scramble happens, he's got more in the gas tank.
Well, that's the thing as well, Brian. He's going for the big finish here as well, but there's not a mark on him.
And that is something to say, since these young men have fought 3 times previously before they've even entered the cage here to compete for this world title. Wow.
So as Brian Lacey says, we feel a total shutout once again in this final. Sirajudin Abdulayev in dominant form, and it's been so good to see at bantamweight and featherweight top men operating at the same level but in a different way for the same result.
This is the beauty of seeing these hundreds of athletes come together, all with their own styles, all their own backgrounds, all coming from different parts of the world. But what we do know consistently when we see a Russian flag enter the cage is you better be practicing your wrestling, you better have that game on, because these young men and women are phenomenal.
But like we said about Mokaev, Abdulayev, you look at his upright game as well. We've got someone pretty special in that cage who we feel almost certainly will be taking this gold medal.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges score the contest 30 points to 27 points in favour of, and now the IMAF WAMA 2019 Junior Featherweight Champion of the World, the blue corner from Russia, Sirajudin Abdulayev.
Sirajudin. Sirajudin Abdulayev, congratulations. A fantastic performance, not just today, but throughout the tournament. The first time we've seen any emotion from you is when you roared when your hand was risen. Just describe what this means, not just to win the title, but the first gold medal for Russia at these